Good morning, good Friday morning. It is November 9th and working already on the C9 project I've going on. My hands are hurting really bad from doing that. I just busted a knuckle too. Anyway, I've got one full strand completed. I have to do at least one more. I was doing some measurements and probably will have to start on a third, but I'm not going to do the entire strand, probably only about 4 or 5 bulbs into the strand. But I ran out of zip ties, so I need more, not zip ties, but twisty ties. I need more twisty ties, which are part of the new boxes of lights that I got. So I'm going to go start working on another project, and I think I'm going to tackle the oak tree. So trying to debate what I want to do with the oak tree. I have a couple ideas, and my focus on now, believe it or not, again, 2 weeks from today, is the scheduled time for the lights to come on, and I have about this much programming done. So with that said, I'm trying to put lights on the house that's going to give me minimum work in programming. Now, yes, I do have other programs from years before that I'll be able to copy and paste. However, I'm doing different things this year on this house that I really haven't done before. Like 16 channel tree, never been more than 8. A 4-channel chasing system on the eave. I've had an 8 channel, but not 4. The only thing I'm really planning on keeping is the palm trees by wrapping them. And I've got some, windows, 2-channel windows and things like that. But the big stuff, like doing this oak tree over here, I had thought about doing what I did a couple of years ago with the oak tree at the house I lived in there, and doing 8 or 9 channels up. But that took a lot of time to wrap and put the extension cords to each channel on each branch. That I don't want to spend that much time on that. So I had thought about doing 8 channels up, wrap the base, and then when we get to the top, start wrapping the entire tree around all the branches. I saw that on a picture, a design of that, and I was like, at first I was like, oh, that's ugly, and then when I saw it lit up at night, it looked pretty cool. So I was debating on that, but still was like, about it. And then Tom, you've seen him in previous videos, came up and said, well, why don't you just wrap the tree and have every branch a channel? So you have the base a channel and each branch be a channel. And I'm like, oh, I could do that. Less extension cords, definitely, but the programming of something like that, it's going to be a little bit difficult. Like, what am I going to do with it? It's like, I just don't see in my head it looking great programming wise. So I had thought about doing something else which would be super easy to install and okay to program, but using 8 channels, starting at the bottom, going straight up the tree, and then out one branch with like a channel, like with one strand. The base would be nice and solid, and I'll be able to spin it around, but that means one strand on the branch going out. It might not look that great. So I'm still leaning towards that, just because it would be easy to install. And let's see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, there's more branches than I know what to do with, but I don't know. So I'm going to start unpacking these boxes. I need them for the twisty ties and start tackling that tree. So let's see what it ends up at. Okay, guys. Well, since my last time I updated you, I did get the oak tree. Where's it at? I got the oak tree lights on. Went straight down and up each branch 8 times. So that's done. I did also mount my wreath, which will be an additional 3 channels, and there's strobes on the wreath, and that will be mirrored the strobes that are on the pine tree. So that's not a separate channel, but that's 4 channels on that, but again, it'll be mirroring that. I also got my shipment of my fish bowls. These are plastic 2-gallon fish bowls. What am I getting this for? This is going to be the protective housing over my RGB moving headlights. I'm still figuring out a way to mount it, but the device, or the moving head portion of of the light fits in here. The base doesn't. This opening's too small, which I'm a little disappointed because I thought in the description that the opening of the fishbowl was bigger than it actually is. So, but at least it covers the main moving head portion. And I think the initial idea is to mount the moving head right up here underneath the eave, and then this is going to be like this, starting out, and it's going to be able to cover and protect from weather. The base of the unit, where most of the the electronics are not going to be covered, but I will be building something to help cover that portion to try to keep that dry. It's going to be underneath the eave anyway, so probably going to work on that this evening. Still working on those C9 sets that I'm working on, that I'm trying to get done. I moved into the garage. It's a little cooler in here, but that's taking forever. I have decided to change something a little bit. Number one, the oak tree, 8 channels coming up. The palm trees, I was going to spiral, and there were going to be 8 channels per palm tree. Was I going to do that? Yeah. There's just going to be 4 sections, 1, 2, 3, 4 on this side and on the other side as well. The bush here is going to be 8 channels, back and forth. I'm going to have the fountain still right here. So that's going to be 5 channels. 4 channels in the eave, or in the eave. And I'm missing something. I'm not 100% sure what. Oh, the windows. So I think we're just going to do 1 channel per window and 1 channel on the door. And then I'm going to have, still planning on doing a 6-channel RGB arch over the 2 arches that the wreath isn't, and so the one over here and the one over there. So still got to build that. That's going to be another project for another day. So I've got a ton of lights in here. I'm still working on my new ones, so I'm not even sure. This year is definitely going to be a cutback year. I'm not going to do as much this year than I have before, but I'm adding new stuff like the RGB floods. I'm bringing back the water show, so it's got to be a lot, but it's still cutting back quite a bit. So that's that. Let's see what else we can do today. All right, and there we are, ladies and gentlemen. The mount is just screwed into the wall, obviously, and then the fishbowl, as you can see, sits over the moving head portion, gives it enough room to clear. And I just put some bungee cords around it to hold it in place. So I feel confident that with the overhang and it being so high up there that it will protect the exposed portion, and that globe will keep everything else nice and covered. So I'm going to do the same thing right over there. So I have 2, and with this placement here, I actually might put my disco ball right up in the middle there. This way I'll have I can actually, maybe, I don't know for sure. That'll definitely be one of the last things I do. Maybe mount it in the top, and then I'll have the ability to point the moving heads up to the disco ball to get that effect. So I'm actually pretty excited. These fish bowls were fairly cheap online, and I think they're going to do the job for me. Much better than the fish tanks that I had last year. Alright, I finally got all of the eave work done. And just to reiterate what I've done is, if you can see, there's 4 cords there, but only 1 bulb per foot. So right here there should have been 4 bulbs. I took out 3 of them, took off the sockets. So we got 4 channels basically, 1, 2, 3, 4. So these, I might have to go up and do some adjusting on the spacing. They didn't keep their 12-inch spacing all the way, but I might have to do some adjustments. Like if we look right here, you can see the last 2 bulbs here are a little bit closer than those 2. Ooh. You guys can see what I'm talking about. Spacing's just a little off, so I have to go up there and adjust it a little bit, but might not. I don't know. We'll see what it looks like when I get it on. I'm not going to do the adjustments now. I think I'm going to, I got a baseball practice in 2 hours. I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap these bushes here. But first I'm going to go ahead and power up the oak tree and see what it looks like. Let's do that. Well, it's not completely wrapped, especially on the branches, you can tell, but for the most part it looks good. Now I have a potential 8 channels here. There's 8 strands of Christmas lights in this tree. Or I might just make this one channel. I really haven't made that decision yet. But, you know, for what it was, I mean, I could have wrapped it, probably made it a little bit thicker up top, but it looks pretty good. Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and use this last clip as the last video. I'm sorry, the last clip of this video. Today was pretty productive. I got the oak tree done. You can't see, I've obviously got the lights off, but all the bushes in front of the house are done. Put the wreath up, all the eave work is done, and I got my, as you can see, RGB moving headlights, DMX lights done. Got the fog machine kicking, and it's going to be part of the show this year. I gotta just find the sweet spot on how much fog I want to kick out. I've got an automatic timer for that fog machine, so I don't want it to fog out the neighborhood, but I want it enough to help with the beams here, so it looks a little bit cooler. Those fish bowls that go around the lights are actually pretty cool. You can actually see some. It's hard to, let's see if I can point it out here. You see the beam that comes back on the back side. It's actually reflecting the reflection off the inside of the bowl, which isn't great, but you know, it's not that bad either. So I got kind of double effect with these lights, which is okay with that. I'm happy with it. It's fine. I think I might have mentioned it before. I might put a disco ball up at the peak. I don't know. I've got one. I got a motor for it and everything, so I might do that. But this fog definitely makes these lights pop a lot more. So I'm very, very pleased and excited about that. So I appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you like and subscribe and follow me on Instagram. This way you can kind of get a sneak peek of what's coming up in the next video. And speaking of which, I think the next video will be most likely, well, I don't know when this video will post, maybe today, but the next time I'll be recording will most likely be on Sunday, since it's my next day off. So stay tuned, more videos to come.